Welcome to the training, the short tutorial on the Foundation Center database. This is considered the largest database of funders and foundations in the United States, if not the world. So it's a terrific resource. And we have been given access for our class, which helps us a lot and will be beneficial not only in locating funders, and helping the organization, but just to give you an idea of this tool that's out there should you in your nonprofit career ever decide to write grants or seek funding. It is interesting to note that a lot of nonprofits, at least in Southwest Missouri, do not utilize the Foundation Center. I think part of that could be because it is a paid service, and so there's a fee attached to that. You should note, though, in working with your organization, let them know that any nonprofit in this area can utilize the Foundation Center at no cost because the Springfield Greene County Library provides access through their system. Now, they don't give you a password where you can use at a remote site or your organization, but they do have a location inside the library center on South Campbell. It's called the Funding Center or something like that. And if you contact the lady who oversees that, she can arrange a time for you to come in and use their computers and access it at any point. And again, and her name is Tammy Flippin, so you might want to note that. All right, so I have provided all of you the opportunity to log in. I think when you log in, yours will look like this. I'm logged in under the the broader Drury name, which is for our class access only. So I think that your landing page will look much like this. So you can see, you could start out here by just typing in the name of an organization or a region or type of work and hit search. I think there's probably a better method. Now, down here, you will see this says include U.S. federal funders. If you were looking for governmental support, you might want to include that. If not, you can unclick that. Now, I would suggest you use this tab right here above the search bar called Advanced Search, and you can do that in search and filters, or you can simply click on the Find Funding, and then you'll have the same opportunity. So this is important because it's going to narrow down your search. If you've tried to use Google for a search, you are inundated with tens of thousands of search returns, and probably 99% or more of those are not applicable for what you're trying to do. So it can be very frustrating and daunting just trying to use a search on the internet, but this provides you the opportunity to get very specific and to narrow down what you're looking for. So this area helps you to select the filters so nothing else will be returned. Now, in this class, you're mostly concerned about the top three. The subject area, which we'll look at again. The geographic focus is going to be the area where the organization is doing work, not just where they're located, but where they do work. So if we were talking about an organization that served all of Southwest Missouri, you would have to include all of the counties, not just one or two. And here is who's affected. Now that actually could be covered in the subject area. So if you click on within the box here, the subject area, you'll see a list of categories. And you can scroll down and it's going to be the broad categories that are typically served by nonprofit and charitable organizations. Beside each category, there are many subcategories. So if we click on, as an example, education, if you click on the arrow next to that, now you see it gets into adult, childhood, management, secondary, higher ed, and then right next to each one of those, you see another tab. So it just keeps going down. You can get very specific on each one of those. So if you were doing something in relation to STEM, which also now goes by STEAM, you could search that, just that right there, or special needs education, there that is. Now, if you aren't quite sure which category to select, it's still okay to actually just type in yours. So let's use as an example, let's say we were going to help an organization that does child abuse and neglect. So I'm going to type in child abuse, and I did not hit enter. It just automatically found that. I'm not sure I would have known that child abuse falls under public safety, but this helped me to locate that. So I can do one of two things. I can click the child abuse tab, or I can click abuse prevention. I think I'll do that, just it's a little bit broader. Okay, now the geographic focus. So I said here, you would probably, if they serve the whole county, you would want to just type in green. And again, you don't even have to hit enter. It just automatically brings this up. Here are all the green counties. So we're going to select that. Or we could have done the city. So what if we just typed in Springfield? Now come all the Springfields. And there we go. All right, so we have narrowed it down to abuse prevention and green and county and Springfield. Now, let's do this. What if we also wanted to do something like at-risk youth? Okay, it didn't find that. Maybe we need to do this. It's hyphenated possibly, at risk. Maybe social and economic status. All right, let's see what we come up with here. So now we're ready. We don't have to fill in any of this information here. We have, these are the parameters, the subject area, the geographic focus, and the population served. And we hit search. Now, if you scroll down, here on the left, you're going to see the grant makers, and this is what you're interested in. These are you can actually view the grants that were given by the grant makers, and you can review the recipient list. But let's click on View Grant Makers Only for right now. If we scroll down, now you're going to see, and look at this, we scroll all the way to the bottom of this list, 62 results fit the criteria which we were asking for. So you've got the Community Foundation, the Charlie and Mary Beth O'Reilly Foundation, and now you can sort these by just clicking on the header. So who's given the most? If you click on that, the Walton Family Foundation. Now let's make sure that that's within our parameters though. Search again. Because we want to make sure that that is in our parameters. All right, let's look at this. If we want to learn more about a funder, let's click on the actual grant making organization. So we're going to click on the O'Reillys. O'Reilly Family Foundation. Now, if you scroll down, you can see the breakdown of what they fund. And it actually gives the dollar amount by each one of those. Or where's the money going? So you can see that they have, the darkest is going to be the most common or recent area of giving. But look, they've given 8 grants in Florida, a 3 grants in Texas. They've given grants, 16 grants in Montana, but in Missouri, over 300. So let's click on Missouri. Now we can actually look at the different locations. So where in Missouri have they given this? Look, we can see the organizations that they have funded, and you could see all 16. It tells the year that they were funded and the amount they received. So you can go through each one of those. It's possible your organization is on that list, but it's also possible that they are not, but you see they fund other similar type organizations, and that's a good clue for you that very possibly they're going to be someone that can help you. All right, let's go back. At any point, you can go back to your results. Go down here. Let's look here at the Lee Cruise Trust. Okay, you can see primarily they fund Missouri, Minnesota, Texas, and Louisiana. They've given over $5.5 million in Missouri. And so that's the biggest one, clearly. They fund, that's what they like. All right, so you can learn about their funding interests. They're interested in abuse prevention, child welfare, their geographic focus here. They like these population groups. So think about our discussions about what you're trying to do. You're trying to align your organization and their work with a foundation or a funder who shares those things. This is where you learn. So you can actually expand this and to see more about it, but you can see the kind of work they do. Now, here's an interesting thing I want to point out. Over here is other funders to consider who might have similar patterns. Click on those and you're going to get some more. Now, those may have been in that broader list, but it's just helping you out here to say that. All right, they don't have anything here about RFPs. And you can see here, what is the size of this organization? They have over 32 million in assets. And here are some names. This is the trustee of the foundation. Here are the trustees. All right. So you can see there's a lot of information here. You can see who's there and what kind of information and where they funded. So they have given every year, they've been giving to the Child Advocacy Center, and just a few years ago they gave 162,000 to the Child Advocacy Center. All right, so I think you're getting the idea here. Let's say we did that, but we want a different search. All you have to do up here is click Clear All, and now you're sort of at the beginning again. Let's take a different cause. Let's click on the Find Funding, the Advanced Search, and let's say we want to look for, we're going to work with an organization that does mental illness, or even let's say suicide. So let's type in suicide, and there it helps us. It's under health, mental health care, crisis intervention, suicide. So we could, let's say crisis intervention, that encompasses suicide. And now once again, we're going to go over to our county and select Greene County, if indeed, or what if they also do Taney County and Christian County. Make sure you're selecting the right area. So now that's broader. They might also do Webster County in Missouri. All right, so that's going to be broader, and that will encompass more. So now we have the parameter set. Now, if we were going to do suicide prevention for youth only, we would have wanted to select that because this is going to include everyone, suicide prevention. And we can come over here and click search. And we see 25 grant makers over here. We can see they've given 86 grants to 6 recipients. There's the O'Reilly Foundation again, the Cruz, the Dar, and the Musgrave. Now that's only on page 1. Don't forget to scroll through. And the Gannett Foundation, which owns newspapers across the country, and of course Springfield has one, so that makes them one. Here's an interesting one, the Ozarks Health Advocacy Foundation. Let's click on them. Where does the money go? Only in Missouri, and primarily to human services, health, and public safety. So where have they given? They've given to the Victim Center. That's not to say they would not give it to another organization, but as it relates to this specific, and keep in mind, as it relates to specifically suicide prevention or mental crisis for mental illness, that's what they've given to. Now, that doesn't mean it's the only thing they've given to. Now, I would also like to show you over here is the menu. If you click on menu, you can learn more about their funding interests. And again, you can see if they have a specific information on the request for proposals. They're much smaller than the one we just looked at, 2.1 million. And this lists the board officers right here. Now, this is valuable, really, really valuable, because it's possible someone at your organization knows a board member at that or at the grant maker. That's really critical because then you have an inroad. You can actually say, hey, we need to contact this person and let them know. So that's really good to know. And then you can see the other tabs here, information. And then right here is their website. So you would want to be sure and visit that as well. All right. So I would also like to point out here a couple tools that you can use. When you see something you really like, if you'd like, you can click on that and it will provide a PDF download right there. If you would like information that you have just retrieved, you can click this and it will email that PDF to you. And if you have logged in, you will be able to actually add things to your favorites. So you can add it to your favorites and remove it. And that way, anytime you log in, you're going to have information about them. I don't use the alerts. I suppose you could do that if something new happened. I sort of doubt that there's going to be a lot of great changes, but that would be an option for an organization who was monitoring to see if there were any things like that out there. So I hope that helps you. Those are just the basics of how to use that and how to move forward. But I do believe that this will really be a great tool for you. And again, you can see down here, they have some information. These are going to be mostly on national and federal funding opportunities. But what you need is going to be found mostly right here as you do your searches. Okay, thanks a lot and hope this helped out.